Right. Well, I know we are going to continue to have fun folks trickle in and join us as everybody is getting settled for their evenings and wanting to jump on and join us and have the opportunity to meet some of our wonderful students and wonderful staff and volunteers and friends. And so we want to thank y'all for being here tonight. If I don't know you, my name's Amanda Schneider. I have the privilege and joy to work at Right Moves for Youth. A lot of my team members are here with me tonight, and you'll get to meet them as well. And want to thank board members who have joined us, and volunteers and friends, and just appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us to get to know some of our students. And really, tonight is about coming together and have the opportunity just to get a little taste of what Right Moves for Youth is all about. And that's coming together in a safe space of friends where we get to talk about real stuff and talk about topics that affect our community and each other and students and what's happening in schools. And so that's what we're doing tonight, centered around our topic, which we will introduce in just a second, is what our focus will be. But want to just do some virtual housekeeping to kick it off before I toss it over to my teammates. Don't forget that we want to make sure everybody can hear clearly. And so know that when you're not speaking, try to keep yourself on mute. And if we mute you, we might help assist in that just to make sure we block out some background noise. And other than that, the group is going to share with you how to participate. We invite everybody to participate tonight, no matter who you are or where you're from or what brings you here. You all get to be students tonight and participate in the conversation because it's about real stuff that affects us all. I think with that, students, thank you so much for being here tonight. You guys are amazing. I know you come from lots of different schools, and we're going to get to know you a little bit tonight as well. And I'm going to toss it over to our Right Moves for Youth program specialists, and they're going to kick us off tonight, and you're going to get a little taste about what a Right Moves for Youth group session may look and feel like, that happens in schools during the school day. And then our fearless leader, Ryan Grammatico, is going to round us out at the end and wrap it up. So thanks everybody for joining, and I'm going to toss it over to Laura, Janita. Who am I tossing it to?
Hello, it's me. All right, so
Laura.
what's up, guys? I'm really excited to be here tonight. So we are going to be talking about likes versus life. So that's like really the consequences of social media and really exploring like how what we share and how it shapes our future because everything we post online stays out there. So we're really going to be talking about um, yeah, that. And so I do have a little I want to hear about what you guys are feeling tonight. So if you want to type one word in the chat about how you're feeling and what you're looking forward to tonight. But wait to push enter because I want to wait and get a whole flood of everybody in there. So just one word about how you're feeling tonight or what you're looking forward to. All right, is everybody ready? All right, push enter so we can get that flood of answers. Woo! Yes, I'm excited. Yes, happy, curious. I feel swag. I like that. Outlooks, happy. I love it. All good vibes. I'm loving this. Grateful, interested. I agree. I'm excited. I'm very excited to hear what everybody has to say and what we're going to dive into. So, Miss Janita, it's off to you, girl.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Janita. I'm one of the program specialists with Right Moves for Youth. So I want to see, can I get a volunteer to lead us in a pop-up pledge today?
I can do it.
Okay, Kendall.
Okay. So everyone please repeat after me. At all times,
At all times,
At all times,
I will do
At
my
all
best.
times,
Sorry.
I'll do my best
To
I
tell the
will
truth.
do my best.
I'm sorry. to obey the rules,
To
obey the rules,
respect myself and others,
respect,
Respect myself and others.
be drug-free,
be drug
Drug-free.
and help others
and help others
Others.
make the right moves
make the
Make
right
the right moves.
for a better life for all.
For
better.
a better life.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kendall. So before we get started, whenever we ask them the questions, we just ask that you hit the little raise hand, so everybody's not all talking at one time, if that's okay, please. So I'm gonna kick it off with the first question. Have any of you ever felt pressured to post something on social media to get attention or validation? And anybody can answer, not everybody at once. Wait, did anybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we heard you.
Oh, okay. I didn't see nobody raise their hand. Oh, okay. Shelby?
Can y'all hear me? Okay. I feel like I definitely have felt pressured to post things or like show certain sides of like my life for validation and like to feel like important to other people, which definitely isn't healthy, but I have in the past posted things for validation and for people to see me in the way that I wanted them to.
Okay, Shelby? I'm sorry, Kendall.
I have as well, but it was more so when it came to like sports because I was injured for a minute, and then I know some of my teammates were like, "Oh, she fell off," and I was like, "No, I didn't." So when I went to track meets, I would like repost like all of my scores and stuff to show people I'm just like I still had it, and it definitely, like Shelby said, it wasn't healthy at all, and it definitely was like, why am I doing this? So yeah, I definitely did fall victim to posting things for others' validation.
Did the validation come from like the likes and the comments, or was just like you put it out there for their attention?
It was more so the views. I was like, I just wanted them to see it, not like even like it or like, tell me they saw it. I just wanted to see that you saw my mark or whatever.
I think that Michaela said that she has. Michaela, would you like to explain?
Sure. I mean, I've been in college, I was in high school, I was in middle school. So, social media, I'm not going to say when that came out, but it was in one of those three schools that I was in. So when it did come out, yes, I definitely made the mistake of posting something for just to be seen. I think I related to Kendall when she mentioned just to be seen. So definitely felt the pressure to do so and did.
That's more so what I feel like it was. It wasn't like I even wanted people to tell me. It was just like, I just want you to see. I want to see that you saw. That's more so what it was.
Yeah, for me, it was like the opposite. Like for me, it wasn't really the views that mattered. It was more so like the likes and like the feedback from other people that kind of fueled me to keep doing it. Cause I was like, okay, well, if you see me as this, even if I don't see myself as that, it like boosts like I don't know, it like kind of boosts how you feel about yourself in like an unhealthy way, if that makes any sense.
What about it do you think is unhealthy?
I feel like getting attached to it because to me, like I used to post so much, like not really post on Instagram, like post stories and like the feedback would make me continue to do it because like it was like that temporary, like, okay, like I feel good. People think that I look this, people think that I look that. Okay, perfect. So then whenever I didn't feel like that about myself, I would like post it again. And over time, it just happened to be like that's the only way that I find confidence is through other people's validation, that's not the healthy part.
What made you guys like say like, okay, this isn't right? Like what helped you like flip the switch to stop?
it was hard trying to keep up that image of what other people had of me. And I'm just like, it was hard trying to keep like posting and showing people just for the views. And I got tired of it. So I'm like, I need to make a switch. And then that's when I stopped like caring so much. Because caring what other people, spending so much time, I guess for me, spending so much time like about caring about what other people thought of me was very draining in my mental health. It did take a toll because that was like my whole life at that point. I cared so much and it was like, why am I caring so much? And then I just stopped.
That is good. To me, I feel like it's still kind of like something that I do struggle with, I would say, but definitely like on a much lower scale than it was in the first place. And that's why like I kind of try to like refrain myself from like posting on my story all the time or like posting pictures all the time. Because I feel like the love that I need or like the feedback that I need needs to start from myself and not from other people.
Well, I'll jump in there. And this is not scripted, but I would say positive peer pressure made me get off. And by seeing videos of women and other people like me posting positive things about themselves and saying, you don't need to do this, you don't need the attention, or just having somebody to talk to and realize that that's not the attention that you want. You really want to make those connections in life rather than on social media and have it be real and mean something.
I agree.
Kamari, what do you think? Have you ever posted anybody, like, have you ever posted anything for validation or to get attention?
Yeah, there was a point where people didn't think I could do certain things in basketball, so I'd record myself doing it. And I didn't even like recording myself doing it because I was just there was no point and it was a lot of work. So after a while I just stopped because I was bored and I realized there was no point because nobody was even talking about it. So
All right. So our next question, when we're talking about exploring the impact of social media, how does seeing others post, like their accomplishments or their vacations, affect your view of your own life? Sanira. Sanira, can you hear me? Okay.
Okay, I was trying to figure out how to unmute. I'm sorry. Um, for me, sometimes seeing other people, especially like in my grade or just in my school in general, doing so much that I know is going to help them with their future can kind of make me feel like I'm not doing enough, and it makes me feel like I then need to be doing more to match whatever it is that they're doing, or to like be more prepared in a sense.
Okay, thank you. Jada?
For me, it's like when you see other people, like I want to say moving faster than you in life, it just make you feel like you gotta hurry up, like, and change the way you do things daily. But that's not a good way of thinking about it.
Okay.
Well, I
Lavelle
like
Janae?
When I see people go on like vacation, it just makes me feel like I don't know, like I'm just stuck in the house and it's just out there doing like whatever. It makes me feel like I need to do more than just stay in the house.
Shelby?
I can definitely kind of like relate to what Sanira was saying or what I think her name Jada, yeah, what she was saying as well. I feel like it's kind of like when you see people moving at a faster pace or doing more, kind of also like doing what you want to do, but you're too scared to do. It's just like, what if I actually did it? Or like, what if I did that? Then maybe I could be in that position. And it's like a constant comparison.
Kendall?
Literally, I was gonna say exactly what everyone else said. It's like, even though I know it, like I have a plan, like being a senior, I know what I want to do when I graduate, but looking at some of my peers, it's like, what if they have a better plan? Oh, they're doing this, they're doing all these extracurricular activities. I'm like, well, I am as well. And it's like we're both maximizing our time, but it's like, are they doing more and better things with their time? And it's just like I feel like it's a constant comparison of like, is their future better, like gonna be better than mine? Or is like my plan not good enough, or do I need to switch my plan? And just seeing that on social media, it's kind of like, am I doing enough? That's more so what it is.
I don't think it's if you're doing enough per se. I just think it's how much you're posting and people could see. Because everybody don't post every single thing. So we're still doing good things with our lives. We're just not posting every aspect of it every minute of the day.
Can I have a volunteer also speak out maybe? Or I'll just start calling folks, but I want to give you like the chance to say, hey.
So I'm not a volunteer, but I am a board member. This is Sheree DeLeon. I just want to say that as an adult, some of the adults go through the same thing. However, because of our experiences, not all of that is posted on social media is true. A lot of it could be a facade. And just be mindful that sometimes your Hollywood reel is what people want you to see, not necessarily what is actually going on, because there's a lot of peer pressure in adulthood too. So I don't want you all to think that we don't go through the same thing that you all go through. But I think with life experiences, we kind of know better. But those who don't know better would envy those adults who post things. But it's sometimes it's not all what is cracked up to be or all what is actually is. So take that into consideration as well.
And then I like to add to that as well, as far as, to say everybody has different paths. So, there are different paths to get to, where, whatever our dreams are and our goals are. So, what we see on social media, we shouldn't, compare ourselves to each other, but really, I guess, kind of reflect on ourselves to say, hey, what I want to do, what my goals are, am I, working towards those goals or doing the things that, I think I should do, and not necessarily, compare yourself to others, but kind of, control what you can control, and just, make sure we're kind of doing the best that we can.
Perfect. Thank you. I think for me, I had to realize like people aren't going to post bad stuff. Like who's going to post that their lights are out or their fridge is empty or they don't got no gas money? Like who's going to say that? But I can dress it up and I can put that I'm in this nice house or I'm on the beach from a vacation 6 months ago, but you don't know that. So just live your life and like be excited and be thankful for who you are and what you have, because it's one thing to be putting something out, but if you're not happy with yourself behind the lenses, it's kind of like, what are we posting for? So oh, Shelby, talk to me.
I feel like something that I kind of did, like since people are kind of giving their feedback on like how to combat that or like how to like kind of feel better, like you said, people don't post the bad things. So what I kind of started doing with myself is I was like, okay, well, they might be doing this and I might be going through this, but that doesn't mean that they've never gone through that either. It's like just changing like your mindset or changing how you see certain things definitely has helped and can help you in that situation. Cause I feel like if you go through life, like you said, thinking about the things that you are able to do, most times it often outweighs what you can't. So it's like just keeping a positive like outlook and mindset on what you do.
Perfect. Sanara?
Okay, I think it's muted. I'm having trouble with the button. But yeah, going along with ways to kind of combat that mindset, something that I've really had to realize, especially as being like a junior and now doing like so much to prepare for my future, I really had to like take a minute and look back that like not everyone is going on the path that I'm going on. Like not many other people want the career path that I want. So of course there's going to be other things to set them up for that path. And that doesn't mean that I'm doing less. Like, for example, this guy at our school, I go to Palisades High School. This guy, I think he wants to be maybe an astronaut or something, but he was like on the news for like NASA and like all of this stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like he's doing so much with his future, but I don't want to be an astronaut. So like that doesn't even really apply to me. And I have to like keep that in mind that although he's like doing so much and these other people are doing all these organizational things and things like that, like that's not the career path I want to go down. So it doesn't even really apply to what I want to do with my life.
Perfect. Ryan?
So Naira, that was a really good perspective. I think that was cool. And I want to go back to even what kind of ties in a little bit what Shelby said. Shelby, you mentioned how you keep a positive mindset. That's something that you use as a coping tool. Tell us how. I think that a lot of people struggle when you're comparing yourself to others. You can't see yourself measuring up or whatever's happening. How do you keep a positive mindset? What do you do practically?
Okay, so there's a few things, but something that I do try to do is definitely like journaling. Like I am a very like, if there's a problem, I try to seek what's going on within myself and why it's has such a big value in my life. Because most of the time, this won't matter to me in 5 years. Like that's the mindset that I have about almost everything. Me doing something embarrassing, me tripping up the stairs is not, no one's gonna think about that when we're graduating. So it's like I'm fine. And I just think about the things that it's like some things are so people make so much bigger than they have to be. And with comparison, I believe that comparison is like a thief of joy and it kills joy. So it's like if I know that and I believe that, then it's like, hey, why not be positive? Like I believe you only have one life, you need to live it to the best of your abilities. And spending time being sad doesn't mean that you lived, you know? So I just don't want to ever look back and like regret what I'm doing and be like, oh, I was so upset with myself. Like I was never happy during high school. High school, I just compared myself to all my peers because I believe that we can all be happy and do our own things without having to compare it to what somebody else is doing.
I love that. Thank you, because I think it's important to recognize the practical use of positivity, but also the tool that you use of journaling, putting down your thoughts, seeing them, reading them, and staying with it, and not just pushing it off and say, "Oh, I'll do better and it'll be fine." But really, like, it takes work to stay positive in a world that sometimes tries to pull people down. And so, whether it's other people trying to pull you down, or sometimes our internal self fights, right? We get our own little self voices that cause some things. I think it's really cool, Shelby, how you pulled that off. So I appreciate you.
Perfect. Thank you all for your responses. Laura, I believe you're next.
All right, so now that we've kind of discussed like a little bit of the impact of social media and like how I think like our lives now and stuff, I want to think about, have you ever thought about how a post you make today might affect your future? So that could be a job, relationships, your reputation. Just any thoughts on that? Yes, Naira.
At school today, me and my first block, it's career management. We were actually talking about that, how a lot of like employers will go and look for your name on social media and see what you're posting and things of that nature. So that really made me think about it this morning. It's so funny that we're talking about this now. But I have like when I post, I try to be very mindful of the things that I post in case like because anyone could see it. And even now, like I have a job and all my coworkers find my social media and my managers and everything. So I try to keep it very like, I mean, not to say it's kind of like almost like if I was making a poster for myself. Like that's what I want my social media to look like. I want like when you see it, this is what you see, this is who you think I am or who I am, so that it's not like any negative light or feedback you could be getting from the things that are on my page.
No, yeah, I love that. I totally agree. Kamari, do you have anything you want to say?
Usually when I think about that, I think of it in like a positive way. Like if you show off some skills in a video, or you show off your vocabulary or something, job interviewers might really like that, or colleges might really like that when they see you. But yeah, I don't usually think of it in a negative way.
No, I think that's awesome because I think most of the time when people hear a question like this, they're always thinking about like, oh no, like you don't want to post this, you don't want to post that, like make sure it's all. So I think that's a really great way to look at it, thinking about the positive way of it. Reagan, what do you got? Oh no. Is the sound working?
Might have lost. Go ahead.
Okay, Kendall, what do you think? Reagan, I'm sorry, girl.
I think about it as if like because I have a lot of my coaches that follow my Instagram, and it's not just like I don't want my coaches to see, but like in the future when I have kids, I'm like I don't want my kids to look at my social media and be like, "Mom, you were out here doing this when you were younger. Mom, you're doing that." Like some things I don't want to I don't do because I don't want to have to answer for it when I'm older. It's like, yeah, that was a dumb decision, or yeah, I shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, yes, I like to have fun. Like I'll post like when I'm out with my friends and stuff, but like I try to be very aware because when I get older, it's like I'm gonna have kids one day and it's like, mom, like you were out here doing that for real, because I wouldn't want my children to do some of the things that I've done, or if I think about it, I don't want my children to do that, so I wouldn't want to do that or post it for everyone else to see.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that's a really great point. Shelby, what do you think?
I heavily agree with like everyone with everything I said so far, especially also with Kendall, because to me, I take it very into account. I'm like what I want my kids to do or see what I'm doing or portraying. Especially like Sanara said too about like it's like a poster of yourself. I want someone to be able to look at my social media and be like, okay, that's who she is. And not just like that's what I think she is, but they can tell based off how I act and like my day-to-day life if that's what I post. But also, people from my church follow me on Instagram. So I'm very, very careful as to what
Yeah.
I'm posting because I'm like, you're not going to get me, not going to catch me doing nothing that I'm not supposed to do. So like, I'm just very mindful of what I do, especially it's like scholarship time, trying to start applying for scholarships for college, junior year, lots of things going on. I'm not trying to lose a scholarship because I want to post me at a party doing stuff I have no business doing.
Mhm.
I'm
No, absolutely.
I'm kind of glad what Ryan put in the chat. He said the first thing I do when I get someone's application for employment is look up their social media to see who they portray themselves to be. And if it doesn't align with our organization, we simply remove them from the candidate pool. I'm glad he put that in there because I don't think we're the only job that do that. There's many jobs who absolutely do that and just automatically take you out and won't even interview you based on your social media. So that's something to think about for the young people that's going out into the workforce.
Mhm.
When we're thinking about like speaking to like the adults on the call, there's this like trend that's going on TikTok where people are walking up and asking for like an autograph, but the people have like studied their Facebook from like years ago, and it's the most embarrassing picture. Is there anybody on like on the chat right now like have posted something that they've regretted, or have you felt like something you posted may have held you from reaching a certain goal, or like stop you from getting certain things? Okay, everybody clean, excuse me. But okay, so I know Ryan spoke out and said, is there anybody else in your field that you work at that you look at others like applicants, social media when they apply? Mr. Stroud, Miss Helms, Mr. Dockery, Mr. Woods.
I was trying to raise my hand. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, awesome. I was actually going to answer the previous question. I had a rather embarrassing photo of me taken at an event, and a previous employer actually found it, put it in a presentation that he then put for the entire team to see. So yeah, that happens. So I learned a good lesson from that. So I can only imagine if somebody came up to me on the street with that in their hand and said, "Hey, can I have an autograph?" But yeah, in hiring, it is important to be thinking about, how you do. I like what somebody just said, how you portray yourself, because that's also a reflection of what you think about yourself internally, right? And so if you have that publicly, it's important for an employer to understand and to sort of have that connection with you even beforehand. So if you're portraying yourself in a certain light, I'm not going to see you as necessarily somebody that I want to interact with. So you got to be, I hate to say careful because that's the wrong word. You just have to be mindful, I think is a better word, of what you want to say about yourself and how you feel about yourself, because it's very much reflected in social media. It's reflected in the way you carry yourself and the way you talk. So yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I'm sorry. This is Don Dockery. I was trying to raise my hand and couldn't. Yeah, I think too that from a standpoint, can you hear me okay? That maybe careful and mindful are just so important. I mean, again, I'm older, youngest 10 kids, but I have 2 kids of my own and, who are past college age. And, again, just from the standpoint of the environment today, just as Ryan says, there's so many cases in society today with a job application or either joining a group or any number of things that take place. Social media can just be a footprint, let's just say, of sometimes just unintended, sort of semi-innocent items that could really put you in a situation you didn't want to be in. So yeah, so mindful and being careful is just really important.
D?
Yeah, thanks for calling on me. Just want to add my 2 cents to the conversation. I just want to say that, nothing I would say is posted that has maybe kept me from something, but when social media came out, on certain platforms, it was fun, it was great. You weren't really thinking about, some of the posts that you made. But as I got more seasoned with it, right, I became more intentional with what I would post. But I want to take it a step further, because sometimes we think about what we post. And I'm talking about from a personal perspective, because just because we're adults doesn't mean we make some of these posts or so do some of the things that may be considered, edgy on social media. So, we think about looking at other people's posts, but sometimes when you comment on other posts, sometimes your comments can be taken out of context, and we don't have to focus on just what we post, but also what we say. I know in past situations, Twitter conversations, you start getting into hot topics, so I have to be mindful of what I say and respond to other people. And on this thing called Facebook, yes, young people, there's a thing called Facebook, right? You get in these deep conversations, and you forget that this is worldwide. So I know I'm gonna have to be mindful of what I post, but also how I respond.
Have you ever unfollowed or unfriended someone based off of their comments?
I've definitely unfollowed some whose values may not align with mine. So I've definitely done that a couple times.
Has anybody ever felt themselves being a troll? Like, listen, you say something about Beyonce, I'm putting the B's in your comments, so does anybody have a moment where it's like, I don't care, I have to comment, I must comment, or are you able to say, no, I guess bigger than me or smaller than me? Shelby?
Okay, me personally, I'm not really a troll, but I'm not the best at holding back what I think, especially if it's on social media. Because I feel like a lot of times people post things probably with the intention to troll and with the intention to get hear other people waste their time and run their mouth. And now I used to be very, very typing you an essay. I would type you a paragraph about why you're wrong and give you sources and cite my information and everything. But over time, I was like, what does my 1 to the 99 even mean? Like, everyone's saying that. We're all mad. It's a stranger. It shouldn't really have that effect on me anyway. So over time, like, I started being like, okay, I see that. You're wrong. Next. And you just go about your day.
Can
I want to piggyback off of what Shelby said, because I used to be the exact same way. Like, there's no way I can be wrong. Or if I like know I'm right in a conversation, or like we're just gonna go back and forth, like I would try to prove my point to the best of my ability. But then I had to stop and think. And I was talking to my mom about it one day, and she was like, Kendall, why do you care so much? Like mid-paragraph, I was like, she was like, why do you care so much? I was like, you're right. Why do I care so much? Because I know, like, even if I could, like, I know, like, we know the truth. Like, we know, even if it's not like a you're right, you're wrong, if it's like an opinion based type thing, it's like, why do you care? Because in 5 minutes, is it going to matter? Is your bicker and your argument right now going to matter? Like what Shelby was saying a minute ago, like 5 years from now, does it really matter? So then, yeah, that's what I just wanted to say, piggybacking up.
Major, what do you think?
I'm sorry. I was going to say that universities and colleges also look at your social media in terms of acceptance as well. I will tell you that my son, who is currently in college, who plays football, when he was being recruited, that was one of the things that they looked at was his social media. So take that into consideration too. There were a lot of players who lost scholarships because of what they actually were doing on the social media. And I'm law enforcement, so it's a very, very thin line of what we put on social media and what we like. So to piggyback on Mr. D, there have been people who have been terminated or fired from the job because they liked a comment that was not tasteful. Let's just say that. So you have to be very, very mindful of your likes and comments. I just wanted to piggyback on Mr. D about that.
Thank you. Reagan, what you got? Oh, it's on.
Reagan, that is such a good point. Thank you so much for your feedback.
Yes, I wish we could hear it. I know it's so insightful. I'm so sad.
So our next question, how do you balance freedom of expression with being mindful of what you post on social media? Kendall.
As far as like Instagram, I have a spam account, I have a main account and a spam account. I'm very mindful of what I post on both and very cautious, but my spam account, it's more so like with my friends and like my close family. And I'm more lenient of what I post on there, but still being very mindful because even though it is my spam account and it's private, it can still be put out into like public accounts and into the world. But I just keep my accounts separate with separate people on both accounts.
Quick question about the spam and all that stuff, right? But isn't your IP still the same? So like
yes.
You'll just be traced, or can somebody screenshot what's on your spam and say, okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm very mindful. I just wouldn't post, like if I'm out with my friends, I wouldn't post like, I don't know. I can't think of an example right now, but certain things I just wouldn't post on my main account because that's more of like a business account and my spam is like more of like a freedom account.
Okay. Let me see. Let me switch it up. Amanda, what do you think?
You are switching it up. I have one account, so I don't know anything about juggling multiple accounts. But I will say back to what Dee was saying earlier is that I did have to make a hard choice about not following somebody that was a friend for a long time because I found that all that was doing for me was I could tell that it was more negative every time I saw something, and it was negatively impacting me. And so somebody who was once a friend had to make a really hard decision for myself and what was best for myself to say, okay, I need to unfollow somebody because they're having a negative impact on me. And that's hard to do. It's really hard to do, but sometimes you have to do what's right for yourself.
Okay, how do you guys refrain from like expressing yourself if it may offend somebody else? Like, do you know how to switch your tone, or do you just not think about the post and don't put it up? Because we all love to say we have the freedom of speech, but do we really, especially when it comes to social media? Sanira.
When I think about this question, I just have to think like, yes, social media is for like sharing or whatever, but you don't have to share everything there. Like, you still have your freedom of expression the same way if you're talking about it with like a trusted group of friends or something than you would if you were posting it somewhere anyways. Like, you don't have to, the world doesn't need to know your opinion. The world probably doesn't care to know your one opinion. And I mean, like you said, like it can go either way with that. Like, it could be screenshotted and sent anywhere, or you might get negative feedback from other people that don't feel that same way and cause unnecessary arguments. Like, it's okay to just talk about some things with some people that you like know and trust rather than posting your opinion because you saw something you didn't like.
But it's not fun just telling people I want to post it, So, Dee, talk to us.
Yeah, I think that when you start talking about freedom of expression and, posting things, we all have the freedom to express however, whatever we want, right? So for me, the tough question is, am I willing to deal with the consequences of this post? Am I okay? Where does it sit well with my soul? Is it okay am I okay with it? If I know and expect, what the expectations are of this post and where it could take me, and really start thinking about it intentionally, that's when that's how I kind of balance and say, okay, am I willing to post this and live with any consequences? That's just if that's pushing the limit there with some of the posts that may post. So that's kind of how I deal with it, and want to make sure that lets you know that's a gauge. Like, is this appropriate? Maybe this is a private conversation versus being posted on social media.
Because when does it come from just expressing yourself to like cyberbullying? Mr. Heary, I know that you work with like CMS with the counseling, correct? Sorta. Yes. Do you see like a lot of students being impacted by social media when it comes to like cyberbullying, or certain like pages being made about students?
So yes, we hear that a lot, and I say we because I work in the student wellness and academic support office, which also provides support for bullying. So that's where the See Something, Say Something person that manages that program is also there as well. So we're often hearing about students and the decisions that they made in response to something that was on social media, whether it started outside of school, but then trickled into school, or vice versa, started in school and then carried into the neighborhood. And so, they are often impacted by what their peers or the world is saying, and it influences the decisions that they make. But on the opposite side of that, there are often times where we have bright young people like the ones that are on this conversation that are, speaking from the experiences that they learned from, but also making the right choice from the beginning, or trying to positively influence their peers not to be negatively impacted by it. But it does have a great impact on the decisions that our youth are making. And so with that being said, as a parent, because of working in the school district so many years, it also has me apprehensive about letting my own daughter, who's 13, get a social media page. So she doesn't have one right now. And so when will that time come? We're just taking it year by year. But I am apprehensive of it because of the impact, more of the negative impact that I've seen that it has had on our youth in regards to the decisions they make, in regards to how they feel about themselves and their self-esteem and their images and things of that nature.
Thank you. Shelby?
Okay, I kind of like raised my hand a little bit ago when we were talking about like um when Sanira was talking about like the not really like the impact, but like how it can be presented to other people and like your spam accounts and all that stuff. But kind of like sorry, I don't have her name. The last lady who spoke about cyberbullying to keep up with what y'all were talking about. I feel like there's lots of cons definitely to having social media accounts. And part of what I wish is that I wish I had one later because I feel like growing up and being a teenager, like getting into social media, I feel like I like jumped off the deep end, and then that's ever since then it just you keep going, you keep going. So I feel like it's definitely like it takes a certain mental capacity to like be ready to see other people or hear things you don't like, or even like being able to, like you said, freedom of speech, like being able to handle seeing people who don't agree with you, because not everyone's gonna agree with what you agree with. And you have to be at a certain like maturity level to understand it. Some things you're just not gonna agree with, you're not gonna be able to publicly speak about, like having like a verbal conversation with someone you trust, like Sanara said, or just honestly being able to keep your opinions to yourself.
How young do y'all think, or how old do you think you should be allowed on social media? Like, obviously, everybody kind of lie. I know it's probably an 8-year-old that's saying who's born in 1970, So, but like, what do y'all think? Or like parents that's out here, how old was your child when you allowed them to make a social media if they have one? Lavelle Janae?
Um, I started like with social media in elementary school, 3rd grade. So I really wish I started like when I get a little older, because I seen a lot of stuff and I regret having social media because it makes me feel like, I don't get out as much. So it just makes me feel like I'm stuck behind the screen.
Do you think it had like, or has it had an impact on like your confidence, or like did it like introduce you to things way too young that you don't like you should have saw, you should have experienced like through the camera?
It introduced me to stuff way too young.
Okay. Sanira.
Okay. Kind of to piggyback off of what Shelby was saying about just how like it can not, I don't want to say like basically her saying about how it takes a certain maturity. Like that kind of goes back to our question earlier of just like social media can kind of become just one big competition, like with everyone having like followers and then you see what people are doing and this and things of that nature. So with that being said, I was also someone that got on social media very young, and I definitely wish I had waited or someone had made me wait or something. But I would say even with now, I think it takes more of a certain maturity level rather than an age. Because there's even people that are in my grade and I'm a junior, they still, in my opinion, shouldn't have social media. So I think it really just depends on how mature you are as a person. Are you able to take on that someone's going to have more followers than you and all of the things that Shelby was saying, and just people are going to disagree with you? Do you know what you should and shouldn't post for your future and how that can like impact you? Because I see people even in my school posting like all types of like illegal stuff, and like we're all the same age, and I'm like, guys, are you gonna get a job? Are you going to college? Like, what are you doing? And if so, do you know that this is going to prevent you from doing it? So it definitely takes like you being more knowledgeable in certain areas to know if you can handle having a social media and what comes with that.
Do you guys think like the influencer lifestyle has like shifted many people's like outlook when it comes to like careers? Shelby, I see you nodding.
I think most definitely, also just everything Scenario said was just spot on. But aside from that, I feel like the whole influencer like rage, I feel like that's kind of what everyone wants to do. So like a lot of people I know personally, like they all started YouTube channels, which, I part of me is the one to have one, part of me kind of does, but no, I feel like it's certain like boundaries of like it's not gonna be for everybody. Like out of like the 100 people who do it, maybe only 20 of those people will actually get somewhere with that. So I feel like it's important to have like a backup plan or have ideas and not just resort to influencer lifestyles and not just resort to, okay, I'm going to do this and not think about what you're posting and how that'll affect you after if you do need to get like a 9 to 5 or a job or become a business owner, because there's so many other pathways aside from just doing social media.
Hey, well, I want to thank you all for your conversation tonight and for joining us. This was very informative. I love like the back and forth between the students and our staff and our directors and our volunteers. So I hope everybody else enjoyed it just as much as I did. And now I'll pass it over to my ED, Ryan.
Thank you, Shakendra. Man, whether you're aware of it or not, we are in a mental health crisis in our country, right? And social media has been one of the biggest impacts in that in general, but also on our young people. So I want to say a couple things about that. Young people, guard yourselves, be wise, make good choices, but also thank you. To where he said earlier in the chat, like you've helped her kind of reaffirm some of the thoughts around when her children should even have social media and how you're even has made an impact there. So thank you so much for what you've lent to this conversation, because it can be an up and down, left and right life. And thankfully, something like this can be a place to have that open up discussion that can help guide and direct. And maybe somebody heard something Kendall said or something Kamari said or something that Shelby said or Jada or whoever said something. And it is a trigger that says, let me go toward the better thing now. You know, that maybe this moment will be a thing you remember. And so we're excited and thankful that students, you joined us and were a part of this process and you were open and honest with the conversation that we had. And we're thankful to continue that on in our Right Moves for Youth groups every single week. So exciting stuff happening there. Staff, you nailed it. Love you guys. Amazing work. Way to facilitate and keep that conversation rolling. Board members, you are incredible people that invite people and bring them in and engage in this process. So we're super thankful for that. And our visitors, Bob, Lauren, Chris, who else is floating around out there? I think I saw someone else's name. Forgive me if I missed them. But you get an inside look right now at this program. And this program is bigger than just a screen. It is on a weekly basis, 1,000 young people getting the input from adults who care, life skills development, college and career readiness, leadership development, and having a push to be the best they can possibly be. So at the end of the day, it's a better life for all. And that's our major goal. So if you're here today and you're a visitor for the first time, or you've never seen it before, or you only had a little bit of inquisitive knowledge about it and you were invited in, there are 2 ways really to get involved. Number one, you can volunteer. We welcome guest speakers. We welcome people to come to a weekly group mentor. It's 1 hour a week to give time back. A lot of companies in this city give an hour that you can come and volunteer and spend time with these young people. It's an amazing opportunity to really change directions and trajectory through people's lives, but also being that guest speaker, like I mentioned as well on there. And I would be remiss, and I know it's not a QR code necessarily on there, maybe it is, but I'd be remiss to say there's also an opportunity to keep this going by undergirding this thing financially. It is not easy and cheap to make sure that young people who get this program completely for free, have this access available to them on a regular basis. And not only that, we serve 1,000 students in CMS. There are 141,000 young people. And so that means there's a lot of work to do, because this isn't the only group wrestling with what we're talking about tonight. And so as we try to grow and expand and really remain strong in the work that we do every single week, of the love that we give out and the care that we show to students and the support that we give them through our specialist work, you can be a part of that process. So tonight is a big thank you for everyone being here. Again, students, thank you. Staff, great. Board, wonderful. And our guests, thank you for being a part of this conversation as well. And with that, Amanda, is there anything else on the end that we need to put a bow on? Awesome.
No, we just want to thank everybody for being here.
Yeah.
And thank you for your leadership, Ryan.
Thank you on that. And I just, whether you visitors, if you don't know my story, I started as a volunteer in 2011. Next thing I know, we're moving through as a specialist, moving through as a manager, a director, and here I am sitting, getting a chance to see all the years of the tens of thousands of young people that have had their life changed. And this is the little place that we get to be a part of that process for young people and contribute to their success in life. So thank you for coming in and getting that bird's eye view of the work that we do. And we look forward to catching up with you guys all in the future. So everyone have a great night, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great night.
You too.
Thanks, students. You guys are amazing. Have a great day tomorrow.
Great job, everybody.